A very good morning, guys. So, today we are going to see what is energy, what are the different forms of energy, and how these forms of energy and what their applications are generalizedly or generalized in a way. Okay, so there are we know there are different forms of energy, but we are going to focus on just a few. There is a heat energy, which is also known as a thermal energy. Mechanical energy is there, light energy, or we can say radiant energy. Electrical energy is there, sound energy is there, chemical energy is there. So basically, we are going to focus mainly on the two types of energy, that is the heat energy and the mechanical energy. Energy that is created in the movement of particles that produces heat. Okay, so when the particles or the atoms which moves in any sort of the atmosphere or the surroundings, and whenever they move with a certain velocity or in certain where whenever they are in the motion, it produces a heat. Okay, so heat or the thermal energy increases as the temperature increases. So okay, so as there is a temperature, there is a rise in the temperature. How the rise in the temperature? When the temperature means there is a temperature difference when the two bodies having a different temperature, they comes in contact, then the temperature from the higher body flows towards the lower temperature body. Okay, so there is a rise in the temperature of the lower previously or the priorly lower temperatured body. So likewise, the heat energy increases as the temperature increases. The faster the particles move, fast is the movement of the atoms, and the greater the kinetic energy, okay, which contains the velocity, and greater the object's thermal energy. Okay, so thermal energy of the object is also greater. The opposite is also true. So thermal energy also depends on the number of particles. If there are more particles, there is more thermal energy. The thermal energy, a hot object in is one whose atoms and the molecules are excited and they show a rapid movement. They show a very fast and the hasty movement. So a more heat energy is produced. Okay, excited hot atom. So we can see rightly in the figure. This figure, excited hot atom. We can see it over here. Next thing is, right, a cooler objects, molecules and atoms will show the less movement of atoms or the molecules whenever it is observed. Then we can say the object is having a less temperature or the cooler temperature. Okay, so let back the atom. Here's a very small descriptive figure about it. Next thing is about the mechanical energy, the energy of the motion or the total energy of the motion and position of an object is called as a mechanical energy. Okay, so we have already studied in the lower standards. Okay, so what is potential energy, what is kinetic energy? Okay, so likewise the addition or the summation of mechanical and the potential and the kinetic energy, it solely depends or it solely describes the mechanical energy. So mechanical energy can be all potential, all kinetic, or some of it. The mechanical energy of an object stays the same, but the potential and the kinetic energy of an object can increase or decrease. Okay, so here's one example. A juggler is there, he is juggling the balls. So think of juggling. The kinetic energy decreases unit until all of the pins kinetic energy turns into a potential energy and it stops moving upward. Okay, so when the ball is in motion, right, likewise we are observing when a juggler is juggling the balls, when he throws the balls upwards, the kinetic energy up to a certain limit, it is utilized, and whenever the kinetic energy becomes zero, then it turns into a potential energy at the height whenever the object is in steady condition. Okay, so no further movement due to kinetic energy. So at that moment, all the kinetic energy is converted into potential energy. As the pin falls back, or as the ball falls back down, its potential energy is then starts changing back into kinetic energy. Okay, so this is what we can understand how does a mechanical energy work. Interesting example is there. Electrical energy is transported to your house through the power lines. When you plug an electric fan to a power outlet, electrical energy is transformed into what type of energy? Mechanical energy. Okay, so electrical energy is transported to your house through power lines. We know that electrical energy comes to our house through the power lines. When we plug an electric fan to a power outlet, when we attach or when we start a electric fan to a plug outlet, the electrical energy is transformed into mechanical energy. How? The motion or the motion of the blades of the fan, we can say, not exactly the fan, but the blades of the fan. So that is nothing but the mechanical energy, and that is the conversion of the electrical energy into mechanical energy. So also there is examples of the transforming the heat energy. When an object is heated to a high temperature, it glows and gives off heat. Suppose we observe any iron ball or something which we heat it at a higher temperature, then it glows due to the heat and it gives off the heat. Therefore, some thermal energy is converted into a light energy or the radiant energy. A fire or the flame converts the heat energy to light energy. Energy in the form of heat is always one of the products of an energy transformation. Energy in the form of heat. Okay, so energy in the form of heat is always almost always one of the products of an energy transformation. For example, when people exercise, when cars run, when a light is turned on, the heat is produced. Okay, so remember this thing: a fire or a flame that converts the heat energy to a radiant energy, we can also take it that as an example, is always the energy in the form of heat is always almost always one of the products of an energy transformation. It is one of the product whenever there is a energy transformation is done. Okay, so when people exercise, the calories are burned. Okay, so here body is heated up. So after the exercise, post exercise criteria is there, not criteria but post exercise, this thing is observed. Okay, so when cars run, when a light is turned on, all this, what do they do? That is the heat is produced. Okay, so we have seen what is mechanical energy, what are the examples of mechanical energy, what is heat energy, and what are the examples of the heat energy. So this was a short review. So okay guys, thank you so much for listening to this interesting presentation regarding the types of energy and how the applications of the or the examples of the different forms of energy are. Okay, thank you so much.